Let's take a look at traffic. Traffic is for running advertising, scheduled independently from your programming to be integrated with that program schedule. Each advertiser can have a flight with their own schedule for when to play ads, or what we call spots here. The opportunities for when these flights can run are determined by the placement of spot commands in each program script. So let's take a look at that first. And in this program, I have a spot coming out of the music where there's an outro, goes right to the spots. And I have one also down here on line 16, also coming out of the music after an outro. And then when the ads are done, the spots are done playing, goes to a pick of jingles and an intro and back into music. These spot commands you can determine how many spots you'd like in each position per script line, and you can give guidance to what kinds of spots you'd like to play or would prefer to play here. And these labels can all be defined on the traffic tab. So for this one, I have one PSA allowed on line 16, and I have one spot with basically no determination for a preference for what kind to play for line 7 here. Let's go back to the traffic. We'll take a look at our different flights here. So each flight, I have 3 different kinds here. One for, I've categorized as promos, one for food, and one for PSAs. Let's take a look at the categories quickly. For each flight, you can categorize it right here. And there's a button here to customize what you'd like these to be named here. So each flight can have a start and end date and time. You get to choose a file that you'd like to use. So this one is an MP3 file. Let's take a look at these others. In this case, you can actually choose a folder and it will rotate through all of the files inside that folder. We can take a look at that. We'll do a reveal, and as you can see, we've got 2 files in there, audio files to play for that particular ad, and it will rotate through those. So you have that flexibility. Now, the next thing we also have to do is we have to determine when and in what programs and what time of day it should actually run. So let me erase all of these for now. We'll erase these. We'll turn all of these off. So it's all off button down here. Now, you could just choose which days you'd like it to play here, or which times, or just which programs. That might be useful. So I'm going to say there are 2 spots commands in the program 80s here, and there's only 1 in the trance one. So I'm going to do 80s. I'm going to do checkbox, and then it will program for that. Now, if I wanted to add, I can do the trance one, and you'll notice that all of these spots in this column actually turned green. Green indicates filled, blank is unfilled, and red is overbooked. Let's take another program. We'll program that, and we'll do it for all of them. Hit the checkbox. And now the 80s program has it filled in green. But if we come down here, you'll see it's actually red. So now we've overbooked our flights for the trance program. What will normally happen with spots being placed is they will prefer their category if possible when scheduled, but otherwise the next preference is to evenly spread them across the different spots. So if you're under, it will still try to evenly spread across the different spots. But if you do go over and you want the overages to actually play, it can still spread them across by turning on overbookings right here. So let's actually try, we'll leave this one off, but let's actually try programming one of these. And we'll do the trance one here. It's 4 o'clock. Let's do the 5 o'clock. and we'll build it. Let's go back and look at the script for this and find where it is. It's on line 6. So if we look at the log for that, we'll find line 6 here. And because it was overbooked, it tells you everything about it here, but because it was overbooked, it should have placed both of these. So let's go take a look in DJ at what we got. And that's the result of that line. These two blue ones are the actual spots that got programmed. Now, once they play, they actually get marked as played very specially back on the traffic tab. In the column past, actual, and future, you can see the past that are theoretical past and the theoretical future. So in the case of this Joe's Grill here, for instance, we have 41 in the past, 0 actually played so far and been marked played, and 679 into the future because at this moment we're playing this for all of July and we're just at the beginning of July here. So there are a couple buttons that you have for your customers to show and for you to report on what the play will be like. So you know how many times it's going to play, but you can actually do a pre-flight report here. And you can take a look at all the different program segments it's going to play in here. And let's pick one that actually has played at least one, and we'll look at the flight report. And this will show the actual plays. So this is what you could show your customer if you're building them after the fact. It will list each program here, or each time that it actually played in the flight report. For more on the specifics of how traffic works, take a look in the help and then choose traffic. And this gives a very good explanation of how spots are placed. And it also gives an analogy of how they're spread across and how categories work. And that's it for traffic.